cho là bên cái lai bên thì ăn rồi mà cái chi ăn có đó anh còn mà nó cái đó mình mới cho là Buom mai còn Panom còn thì cái tiếng mất cái Buom mà gỡ rồi đây bên thì này tức là này rồi cái bữa tết đây cái nên đi chơi dọc thì nằm rồi đi nè là những plausible thì được cái bác cái discuss ở ngoài thì có là decision am mega but ko ko lo da no mene lingi ngu kono pal ke je kon christian no kon ko do pal da ger kon wi ko be decision mek gwa ko kuidan chede ke jana mo to mor borotle o kut la chare la ja ger la decision la ja mega decision making ai kora la decision am mega every time you are making decisions yeah decision mo kono mek ni chang it has to do with the resources limited kakon you have limited resources you have to make a decision yeah but kakut not over yeah I think she topic our discussion jala mi alam tangmi benaitin nene bekana kwen so without further ado I think we can start and then follow to you Buom.
Okay ne walo chan le ko wala we chan te ga man ver long kan kon jit na business we gwana ponde men te walo chan chara decide bana mata wala ka bana nyo continue ko kwa la ka line yani ala ti ken ban right na wala wo kos gen jeremy that take a decision okay yani first of all nan goro dia me shala decide bana define ko anyway yani like yana go long dia melan me ba do ba define ba ngai ne ke lo no okay decision ke me na want to define and ban ko singra
Yeah, from our perspective and again I think something me madara nanga fiele tijen fiele ngor dong da definition da influence ka lenga decision whenever take some competing priorities yeah take some competing priorities ku kel go radian tijen ala guru katong nora ko lar ngok ngok do rafi lo ngok jepin no na ba lelena ben number 1 number 2 gana to no decision ko kon need la human the kon ngai ko take limited resource whenever you are making decision take a limited resource maybe take a time very limited take you to very limited and then take a capacity maybe very limited so then the decision could make based on those resources yeah many example many nang mi guru jal te win mi within mi you don't want the first class the mental business class but now you have to decide between business class and economic class so you are just making decision now in two competing priorities based on your limited resources but your decision is somehow different go tell a limited resource tell a limited time dorar the decision but char long decision that but I will get it in depth yeah I think there can be panel.
Yeah. So, and a simple definition of word mutually decide a decision. Chet ke men je wala de kala do ngo ko actually Latin word lo no to cut off again real meaning of Latin. So decision to make a choice. La chairman cool pilot to settle a dispute la mete ga do mi je kwai kam ne na daro ke bun daro be mamo me je kwai kam dem be resolution be ya la ka but also know to determine an outcome lo tab do go good ke so ta la de good or and I think this final definition of way to determine an outcome take a lot to do with gen take a plan. So plan take a outcome which are like a bit work like take a burn me like a queer right Isaiah 46 verse 9 why to put the way I declare the end from the beginning. Here's your outcome. Ta bang wan bi ga rodi lat ka je chelat ni tuka o wa bi ga gudi. So a decision which I make not only to overcome cheredaro but more about la no ngo bi awi outcome ke gun wan ta tiyo. So yes, then then one ka query the measure definition decision.
Okay. And then Lata here define yeah. Chemate that again definition. Okay. Antigen cause gen that and again the decision that and A is yes or no. But I believe in the another is yes. Okay. I don't know. Anyway, ngani yo telanga wam watin queen me and ngani yo kenda way yes ko mode okay what yes but then take a problem to one tip ban discuss ni yes more our point for there more the side come one know that more take a problem okay my goal now and we yen biango cool convince and allow you answer me yes ko there and then that wo kushar biang convince yeah that was shall go man commission one no more that go biang convince okay first is it a yes or no? And of course, tell me that is in the make. Okay, first Mr. Koang, and then Mr. Panom.
Yes, of course. He makes decisions every day. Yeah, he makes decisions.
Mr. Panom.
Yep. I would say yes. La decision la ya mega, but time make a decision ke ja dong da kula ta da ka ta ko na make ja. Where yeah ta ko make ja ko ni me chu ko cho che sak so che enter into time che me chu kon won lan ne ka last ke kwa de sure. Or the quote to what I got to where to enter into time gonna space well that got like to enter into time with con care quality interact being Nick here need to take a free choice. So at all the choice is like an a good decision I make a quiddian cut but take a plan get a letter body la know about. So yes, God has to make decision, yeah. He does decide.
Okay. Okay, in terms take a point of dear take a right quidin, okay. Then answer here oh yes, quote the char do no name ngay kon along gin chan do char there must be time, okay. There must really be time and we do char this is number one. Okay. Number two, when then she had defined could you allow me to lay decision, then you should me take a multiple let's say choices like in take me full point again, like in LB contract, okay? Which means that you don't know all the answers, right? Now no more the condom problem but God's omniscient. Okay, this is number two. Okay, number one at time, okay. And we will watch out nothing but take a time. Because I believe share making a timeless universe. I'm not sure, man. They are for them, man. Number two, omniscient, and share me ngay to the kulum. Long queer decide your time, no ngay the can be a kulum, couldn't decide that. Okay. Number three, where don't hear very important. No, food is all powerful command. Share me tell me yan, you don't tell us their solution logo or I don't know. This is not number three. Okay. Number four, our course is immutable, and of course, Shagam, or the course is unchanging. Okay, so liquid or shadow course point is like now it's changing, by the way. Okay, it's now like changing. Number five, our yani en kus kan on shak, okay. And time jo long en shar labin bit a time, okay. With the kan on shak a time and then with the yeah. A beshari o kada bo kul shak tama. And a kan o shak and a shar din and ke time and then bukulu bo kul shak kushan shaka shao a jena kul taka time, okay. Mungkin dar kul yani dar kul benka time dan can bukul bashar. The king before he created the universe, for example, يعني share mental over time, okay? يعني he live in that timeless universe, I don't know, timeless zone. But somehow, okay, share over bishop, okay? Kula time did not know. Okay, number one about I think long ago, and will be door share, laden to take a time. Quote the timeless universe. Cool share did it. Karena mau ban barai itu nama lain. Mata kong.
Yeah, so by a teach Mugwa, I believe when Rami Bijandam or Tija could go a clarity on that question. And I believe also you have this question with all the sincerity. Gurno all I do. Allah, the first confusion Allah Benato, whenever Chikon decision, Chikon the way cook on decision, we're gonna define we're gonna come put. Agent hard about that's when it become a problem. Okay. And in two way decision and about make about work thing. We take a limited resources. Maybe take a limited time. Time to tell you. Guru and Amal Fenton, go to later. Me will wrap up, but cannot. And then decision no more. Could you go and tan. Couple the area Kajanamo. Put the lyric time. Okay. Do that happen in next 10 years, in next 100 years, in next 1,000 years, tell me here. Tell lyric time. And cook. Okay. To kind of discuss the why they show, I have to return this one. So, could the lyric time. Whenever good decision, could make, you will take a problem resolve. Okay. Don't take the time, don't take the capacity, don't take the region and all this. Tell it. Again, the first thing and go the corner camera. But over teach on ban which go over now, in a practical manner, but the corner understand. Ngaje cha comment cha teacher cha la ping was a moment chat come on together and I want to take it that way. She emperor the nabu cha teacher mo cha teacher so if God decide the outcome or why bother afraid to go to change things, yeah? Care more broadly, why do we afraid? No pal con again, no con the pal again.
Yes.
Okay. Kajane other Christian, ala put nin katungo ticketing ni tuka. Nin katago ticket ni tuka. Yet but ticket ni tuka. Okay. Now, whenever you pray, ko gur mubwa eba talk. Admit it in a way. You can go I'm ready to claim that one. Again, a joke in Tama. They are coming, maybe run well there. But take it this way. Muchi gadu. Muchi you get to reveal on time to take run waro. Naja panam take a gat method. Muchi cook to reveal of anam. And gadu and Tama. You want him to turn 18. I believe so, right? A chunky Yudial is very easy to buy a car, but a chunky Yudial, she cook to reveal a kind of corner run well. Kuchi gur baronek. Okay. A man on the ultimate gur con caretaker and dam. A could only be a cook con train. Which you can 5 million and dam. There is a chance that you will regret in the next 10 years. Could in deal 5 million and dam one, eh? Do you regret no? But much our moon and dam. The corun well. They men del record. You see? He didn't mature enough to 10 million only cognition. But we didn't what enough, maybe be do longer. You see that God wants you to first grow. A lot decision of God that comes to us, that relate to us, has to do with us. A lot good no con mature. But nyinke till lede. A child consultation ko con chair God ko nyinke ketu suno no tuka. Ketu suno tuka. Whenever we talk about decision on time, based on time, variable ko dier ke time tele. Chankel ka kut. Bible yero run to 1,000. Can you see that? Ala one chankel ka ro kut ka ro. Chere le ko you run to 1,000. I chambu yo to 1,000. No yo.
All
Yeah.
of us.
Now, again, I know you will have a follow-up question, but
Okay, wait, Mr. Panom. Miss Koang Chua, Jintam Miku pray, and Mafal the Jimone, and it's all yours before you pray, but you're only telling God that I'm ready, okay? So, which also means that, and I pray a point that is nothing because, okay, even though you don't pray, it's still by me, but any time you change to away, okay?
no, it's something. It's something. Alamine nankaji ko jin human being. Chidore jaga mechanic. I have everything in jagi and dama. Like chuan let and dama. Kini kon tiri go lat. You have to apply. You have to prepare your document. You are asking. Yeah, janta pal ke no more. So you have to show your readiness. God, I'm ready. Okay. So mechanic like that let you be lat wo chuko no. La ko te go no da ji kam mekini char. Ko jin human rundi wo char ni ja dor wo ji ko something can go wrong. Kamisha kamji. So you have a blame game and other human. No. Because Meji Kamene, it was not me asking, it was you. Now I am to blame you. No more to okay ka hidden ka wuri chola Adam. To me cha kam check ka goy loy ko ko goro be tekel kan ram tel loy de ka to ko bel kor me check wende. Check ye kama. Allah could only no you have to ask. And then he has to test your readiness to that. Chitkamin miti God has to us. Yeah.
Okay. And then, correct, lakin baden, yani, God is all knowing, ban watan ba sure, ko, yani, they were and could that region ngaye, and who you are ready or not, or mem anything like that. Mem karabas, Miss Panom, Kangarman, Menyangra.
Change when our engineer decision requires time. So we actually spoke major we want a chat he enter time. Lo tere time go to interact with human being. Be interact and need to get time. Change so time that pal. A pal like an work with kalaka loike. So don't jablo jawala, don't balo jatar, don't balo today immediately. So there is time there. So voluntarily made young work that I chap physical creation chap he enter time. But catch her and chari decision of what we chet me could has to sit down and think, okay, you know what, I'm gonna create this world but we want by chap and then you know, okay, okay, that's not I don't think that's how it works. Uh, we don't can no queen, right? A decision could be queen. Uh, maybe don't there's something still ahead. Take a decision in one long mobile ko guard kuma ke being can then because share do care away in the be out and go holiday to the alto can get decide ko kin ni chop gwa the mo so as human being we make decision one day at a time. Okay? Chikon take ta take a ko imagine you living your life at once. Hello, tigdu kele uchenge ka wada kelo. That mean ngaji char ku dialten bichar your whole life. Okay? That mean decision ku dial ke plan ku dial ngaji ke. You know what your plans are. But change na makarada but plan ku to ku can exist with you the whole time. Ku ntama ko lat ko na wujen eternal tele tung nini ka tele gu nini melonu wa sharka dial taken ga jekel those plan like the core plan at all and then what the last decision we have make it in time is in relation to how we respond to him and how we respond to us meant to wait at time but plan ga taken ga je ala eternal ga jekel we mon be chak share something me you could take for so long And then Jacob decide later, okay, but we want by chat. No, it's part of God. Will take a decision that I will take the chang by increment, right? Chang day 1, day 2, day 3. We'll take the taste in full, taste in care. And I think that's hard for human mind over job lawyer and to imagine or take do the chang in full care. And that's why, you know, may let go planning. I don't think you need time or be char away, but we more than be chakane. That didn't happen. Cannot walk on them. Tell about decision, about they are in response to his plan. He made a nation. I'll take a duel. You're gonna let you decide over we want be deck capu. You decide over sort of be deck. Who let can get white can get plan. Okay, so those are a result of plan ko thi ko ka set ko la correct ni human cause to go to what do me here. So again brief respond to it.
Okay, Mr. Chiwo was and the time which I ben ka time the content chan bakul changan milan bakul ta kon ke okay chan be par kon kul bon ka answer tamam ke she yila no. Okay, my problem now is that I shan be enter there you have to say that okay I have to go there I shan bakul take away me bakul interact with them right we mean it's still a decision tamam mode and take a timeless zone and want it no lakin che ko decide again o bako time me chan ko take away bako interact and any talk okay how can you explain this one again Mr. Panom?
Okay. So a genius decision that how can I interact with these people? Okay, could take a chapel of a universe be create, okay? A chapel take a forever. Many the moment came, okay, we're gonna call it a moment, but you know, it just doesn't the human mind or like they should go up and make you call the make you call it decide the physical creation and based up scientists say this was about 14 billion years ago. So 14 billion years ago, that plan meant to go forever, okay? That planet go forever came to pass, okay, bring it about. And that was the start of time. It took time rather when, you know, like an actual Big Bang, when there was this energy of explosion and then the universe started, right? So it's bringing his plan to pass. Okay. Kakon deciding that, I mean, take a kill already a plan, but bringing it to pass again took time or may in time. That's when God entered time. But apart from that, that's all I know of God is outside time. Outside time more. Like tell a limitation at a corner, you know, I have to travel, get and all that. That doesn't apply. They happen. The guadang go to chak limit a human time at a content kind of space. So I don't know what is missing. Go and took time because a physical object here, the physical universe came to pass. That what you would describe as time. But before physical universe, these are mental exercise. Getting either interaction with it when quite a last time. It's sure it took 1, 2, 3 there when but that's not physical time. And what we're talking about a physical time. I know all the time with the physical. So physical time being a major universe.
Okay mi da kong mi tem bi ma tan go ko ngen chawo an point ko shan be ben ka time yani chairman da and there decide first go kala ta na yani bako inter time men kan mi tem tong bi ma tan
Agent Hardenamo, Alamini Lingana, we are talking about Rami Jing in a limitless time. Now, I call a quid and I'm going to write on a quid, may outside the time and space. And he decide to be in our time, go corner, to pull in track of corner. Otherwise, corner dealing. But for him to decide to know better, I need when did he start to decide to know Baranchak? It has been his plan. Okay, man, cái time chứ còn ở I mean chứ còn đây lối cái time mà time cũng có decide cái gì cái baran chắc yeah này it has been his plan. Okay, from the beginning, meeting the beginning, which we don't know. That is the same time, but and decide cái gì cái đâu bên track con, baran chắc bên track cái gì cái part of him from the beginning. Okay, part of him from the beginning, but what if something went wrong? From the beginning, or if something went wrong, I do this to redeem the humanity. Bagal loyok, kadua menana. It is a charawan. Okay. But then which movement amakula talk? Who is going to fulfill that movement? Again, to put the dear kajayo. Okay. So our interaction with him, my decision and him, mission make and him. Again, to put the affair. Okay, but could Cherke pick a thing from the beginning, okay, part of him. Okay, can decision, okay. Yeah,
Okay, let's just imagine it this way, okay? Men cause Jeremy Chanka timeless universe, okay? Yeah, good before he created the universe and before us now you are saying in no gen benka time the content, okay? Just chana men assume yani chana years to another yani ala same kono hunu gwame chana men angatara tin muka tau ko tong me Jojo long wo quote me dora till to tell effect, okay? Yen check this much longer than the universe, and then at some point, I'm not sure, at some point, it decided to create the universe. Yellandame, assign Jenny and universe as 13.7 billion years, okay? Lakin cause an agenda dora till to tell effect, which means that cause cannot be 13.7 billion years and more korun konang tin ba then and then check this much longer before this time, okay, before the universe, right? Okay, we mean that there was a point somewhere there when he said that, okay, now I'm going to create the universe, and then I'm going to the mem just as an agent check with the science and one more. My problem now with time is more along my proper time, okay? And time it tell you more, time. Okay, and okay, engine over share could happen kid. Lano, I shall do share Muslim. It must have A, which is the beginning, and B, which is the end, okay? I'm not sure. Just can you just try to plan Lano con that move one out of the town? Can I Mr. Kong first?
Allah yak dan ke jana mo bom o nyen kon tuk good. Yen kwada yak dan tin kon humans. O bana ben ka live video ngai kon tuk de. Lak ta kon dap ke je. Ibu kon ben ka live video wala. Kijen. To na mo kon la gor no ko va ta ke entam. After ke tuk and everything. Kijen. Yen kwada the problem tesen. Ka bible ko ne wa cher kon. Kana cher kot. Wire no kam yal na nan ke nan mi je. Okay, tin char kon ke tin chare ko to good nan ke. Okay, so some of them chukon ka understand fully and this time do no to kulute it. Mala kuluchi panom on ke lada no let us assume that 1.4 billion years ago, well 14 billion years ago, chawimon chachak. That is the time when this comes to pass. Like here time and kutu the desire we want to catch 1.4 billion years ago or 14 billion years ago. I usually forget that. I like you could decide again that day. A charm is you could a char no one. Okay. But a chunk of pentin couldn't want to issue a yoke. Nay, Jada pentin wouldn't want to have nothing. Tell me Yaraka Jaco tell a rectum. You see? Tell a rectum. Ngay je mi da open tin in town memorial tell me yara kaja. Yeah. So can they take a chance which I could decide no. I know I'm thinking now have to create the universe. It's a good chara one. Okay. Something me a part of him. Admit to no one. Kata mi shi kono dem along ke no we dan ko ina chara ne. Okay, but ngai je kon human gur kon took everything ka. But mi jo jin tam metel mi chala took ni kai gen physical well man dama kiti kon ko manan ka wang dan tel ka took. Like for example, chi jo gane tam me dap ka adam. Je ko ram dire ka ke den ke cheng ni me dap ka je. Ta dap chi ro kon je gat nton ni kon ni. To mi jo ka adam chi jo ga adam. Tirun dia. Ke jen cheng ni me chaka je. He could have had time to answer this question. Ko kuje. Ta ram di do orade. So di en mal no dia assume okay. Garam and him take a tick. Okay. So then he's 30 years old. Di en mal na ngwa da mo. Ko can tin gur kon human. But ko che gur be la adam te grundang ne antiel che kuluban kairar reika kiden. Che kuluban to interact ke tam do kon kuluban understand. You see this problem? The same to human behavior right kon kiden dama take ngwane the contact hatam to exactly find day in to karodin kaya chit bible kal ngas ne 2000 years no mi jina wi karok di wujak we more than 2000 years simple lecture ta wuri chala de me okay wote gwam no ye tana ko le you ko do lo ne gwam te tana wal therefore it's difficult for you to say that they were 2000 years mi wi tam na kan ne ne ndame ngwan to ngwan shan kan ko ne di chai chak ti you are not just 20 years old now. Kakut, thin before kanjinadap. Can you see that problem now? Mako don't learn it, you don't learn it, you more. That is part of you that is somehow Dora. Like a teleric namoka, teleric or something it can be without age. Okay. But I can't in that problem. That's where you have problem. And it's good to also to discuss this. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, this is very important. Okay, Mr. Panom.
I mean, like, tell a further comment really long with the Martin. Concept of time again, good time is a very interesting thing. Chete, kakon ke past, ke present, ke future. So time, kwa measure, measure, ke space, and a distance between things. That's how we measure time. Ngay kon and more very well, but without a physical universe, then we call it a thing. Yeah, that bomb along over that con time, that con a measure. She time and don't we see a lot of talk around the jet okay, talk around the gentio. Yes, you are measuring it, get time, it dark with it, and the continuous time and take it now. So without a reference point, boom along with the time the account. So you imagine these two arrows to work they're pointing to each direction. If that is happening, we just walk on a more new you our mind can conceive more one so they call it infinite to the infinity to infinity. So infinity is very hard to conceive. Okay. The infinity then we quantify the time again. It doesn't make any sense. Go talk with it, good with it. So that make it very hard. So you go to the end of the book when actually Revelation to go out in your talk time, like physical time, like universal time, but time may exist within us coordinating to exist as physical human being. But Guami tell a physical earth, tell a physical heaven. But Tanaka existence, mutual can need eternity, Kiadora. And human mind, that is just almost impossible to conceive. We only relate to things that Taka con get and Takon get reference point. Which well we geogram last 10 generation. That is we Takon live streaming now, okay, mutually Facebook. And then Jokon connect 3 continents we interacting like this dear that would be very hard to conceive. And I think somehow trying to conceive time at a quarter maybe actually a time that would be an injustice. Now bomb yeah.
Okay, asan tam dan we long ka kon share mata kon 4 ke 5. Chana ben ka Although okay, if he has to decide something, yeah, what does it mean? For example, when done, Mr. Kwang Chawa, give me folly, you know, I am ready. I am ready. Luno and the motaji that to take anyone like in you put I'm ready, Ujin, who come with one, tempted anyone, okay? We mean that change over to Tintawan, lo ngay and metropolitan Kalu. Okay, wait. First, let's come and Chan Banko usually immediately. Okay, first, okay. Chan Banko could this share again, okay. Ban welcome commission or la omniscient version. Code yen share again, okay. Ngay kono wo share again. Yeah, example, when dan Mr. Kwang Fu Chila do could che come with do. Lakin be able to you be cool take a tamam. Now che with a che again. What does it mean? And go share out again.
Kut che gere wide. Kut che gere wide. Ran jen gere video. Okay. Ran jen gere video. Ala mani ling ala your father. Ka Bible la jol ke wara maten nial la your heavenly father. So your father che de gore muji jimi biu ham. And that's how exactly the Bible cho che describe je. No ngaji mo go kuidun chi ma dew ham ni. Chi jen. Du no kon charan kwe ala man guri ndam la ya guri ka fadan dam. Lo guri jen dam. Okay. So when it comes to our interaction with kut guru du or kokut. Kut men gore ba kammi jatin ronga. Chadak like I mean all me ke lewe dunde. Jen chakayo. Everything can go right take and make a yank. Kujan chakayo. Chijan. Daga kamra mogore. Aran daga kamre yo young. They are yours. Problem jane. Are you ready? Chirabu nakake. Okay. So if you are not ready, chuko the kamji. Chagari with it. Mekamakeji, you are ready. So he's responding to you. Kanuk the keji.
But you are ready or not because could ngay one day.
He knows now that you are ready. He knows now that you are not ready. Buom, you are ready. I have to buy you a car because you are 19 years old. You are responsible adult. So that you come into reveal. Okay? So chede kujungu ready. Menoko bacha de kuj ready. There comes it. I can just bring one example. Take a garme chukwang. I think the kwang kedap anuara. I quite a book on the video on the so the good thing is a lot of people know so you want long and then to work a level made like they are young again. But I don't tell fell ngay to chu decision make yo take a million deal take the bank. What I do and them by game about that which we know how to find walk wine no way. To walk you go in. You look low in your when you change that way and tell me. Luna job to you will be not come and go. You see that? Now, me, Rami take a charm to thin one order, Rami take a charcoal and that. I'll let go my next stage. Over cock is 18 million. Whether a bit or dollar or whatever or euro. Take a charcoal buck of achievement take 18 million and I'm working toward it. Which you touching a bunch of day young. Could take a plan of one, you know, one of the You see? Morai corner never take a ball to la work a betting, brand take 10,000. 10,000 bir, don't take 10,000 bir, you take a Karamala for you. So Melato and Dolly, take a doll to like Yen, the wear, go you to like Lavang tom tom wear, begin to weather we walk, take up Karianity Agambel, me Giramanga Gambel. They could Menang Narodian. Where most likely they did not. But then, like the other pillar which, like the ted, whoop, no bomb me around the problem. Who can mean you can? Chijan. But me, I'm like a cap. Kiram captain want to belke. Then I'm like, nay. Ketin Polgaja, like, then one near and more quick. You see, look what a gentleman like him and not knock a good lord, they come locked to get gambling. Did you want to Kidiro one like a cool nugget? Like Agora, you have to be ready. That's when he gave you things. So why do you afraid then? Because I know, quick, you know, take a native one comment. Why do you afraid? Yenta aja laramandan to express your readiness. Like sometimes human can jake me ban bang ready one long do be kaji. Ni gratitude te then. Okay. Like gratitude tell you can eat one. To me, you go and no nameti jene kacha munda kama gore and then I have to thank God. So this one a gratitude. Chigo kui kop. A kuidu. Koramate gratitude. Take the tagger. La take the lie jaga chum la jaga guaya. Chicken mala arrogant. Chicken mala ramijia. But many of the aljic bomb do. From today, bomb many on by in the next 20 years. Whatever it be generated the jigga bomb do. You can write Kajan live video man. Ko Google label me chin the alchican the thing. Okay. So Kudukula Guru no let thing come as a result of your prayer, okay, as a result of our interaction. And then okay and welcome you door so that you will make a gratitude. Begin like human, otherwise you can be a human being. Thank you.
Okay, wait, Mr. Panom, wait, okay. Mr. Koang, Deme, Georgia, long time, lo, Ginny, work a cut to as a prayer, but that's fine. Yella, my problems here. Jen share me can it pray, Maslin, making could can it share me share the communion while share me that come eventually. And could share me and share me chair work a time do and over to a brother Musa. Share me work.
Yeah, no,
To prayer in time.
It's one like that long. Allah tan ling na prayer. Prayer she charling a dog kel. It's not about provision, karade. Take a Christian to one and time teach you could man I joke mo yakador. La moy door ka no mo the first reason for prayers. Prayer jeremy amaru come to yaraman kuyala rich relationship. Man it can put chicken and knock. You would more cook and knock. And la cook nene dia la rami chak. A father of everyone and chak. But I'm a cool take relationship very special prayer. Yeah. So yeah, so no more de go de la research de la ramadan.
Okay, Mr. Panom chan tam don wega. Ngan cha Mr. Kwang cha ti yo. Kan course and en muy de me che la tiane che ba time do. Okay. But somehow she found be could you ready. Okay. Share me she with a share, okay. And ko Michelle ready for example, me agree I'm not sure. And Michelle agree yellow a year ready, mungkin da come before that time, I'm not sure. Or yani share me more that time me that I live regardless of whether you fry or not. And can I tell you
Yeah, so over here, yeah, I don't think it's something that you decide, oh, I am ready. Karade. Chewe mipal kona lat kono, we are ready. Yes, we are ready to receive that. Kiet lat kona desire. We're expressing a desire to God or go in the measure. So when you express that desire, couple tawa loy ni dial couple the wake yes. And time me la de duor me met a charcoal take a me chiti no called a immutable ke charor again. Yes, that is true. Tre character couple character a charor again. She and they were one noka ramatake justice ramatake patient long suffering to deal the telemage or a couple. These are his immutable nature, teacher audience again. But in time time what desire no kon ketin no kon ko ko loy ke je okay but could depend ka ta wi je kon ke je u na me gwa ka kon at this stage che gwa for example mi chu ko tie tie je me ko go re je u be community 50 million chet ke men je da manan ke le ti comment but at time jin you have no clue what you like 50 million. What can happen, and this is statistic. Maybe share online. Need one to you gambling, you can win. You lottery, you can win. Like, and we end up poorer than what they done it. Then you're gonna just their life become worse. Are we young again? Even sometime like talk and more. You find that Boca Nati famous, like there are other famous. I mean, you think, oh, you're ready for it. You have to take the boy even more. So what the dialato ngay ke oh are we ready or not? Chere che men chala de ke pira mu gan gan. Yes. Tendi ala de chang in your house. Diga kam gad ku. Eventually biga kam ge many point chang mo everything. Tell a door me dong bia dundu. In the end biga kam gad ku gan dia. Man ngi je wo ta ga ta ken ge stay ni. I'm ready, case ready. All right. So and a more jen kukul the jaka ja wo ko. Ngay min kwa ka kon. Take a knowledge as wholesome knowledge of every human being. Yeah, damn. How many people did exist we mourn? Kwana yala de wo sin ne me kuna exist. Don't there been 100 billion human beings? You know, we every single one of them. Chẳng jen ta jen bo I come that access, take a capacity or be on topic. I think your knowledge of humanity that did along the exactly or what each person will need. Came and we can go take again when they will be ready for this. But knowledge is beyond again, and when he decide, that doesn't change him. They change in nature. Okay, is in response to our desires. And I don't think it me. I'm not seeing any contradiction there. Personally, Chen and me don't tell me pull a white day, pull a point out, me don't tell me get all the link. Yeah.
Okay, and minyam ngan goro banga yo share me kuyena agree and Mr. Koang tidial alam ni kudial chaga gor lakin ele bugul falen ko if you are ready or not wala share me chairman what on
We're not talking about choice. You don't know get your choice. Okay. You're choosing be a make, you make your choice, but let go let go outcome more, outcome of that choice. You call the surprise then. Whether we choose or go we choose a jaga. So call be about tomorrow. Wow, I can't believe in a match bomb choose. I was not aware of that choice or bullet thing. What a new choice, me no. Choice maybe whether a boy while a but you choosing them is mental atredu. Che go over you make to choose those things, but what you choose here's the price. So to the then whatever you desire, like a go to take a la take and a liacha queen niam dun ka pop can lam. So therefore choose mental is your own choice. Here outcome. For you all outcome then go whether magua ke media mental karade your own choosing men be choose radiant.
okay and you answer them she mentioned free will she will accept them answer me
Yeah.
me Koang she free will she could deny it. I'm okay I'm going to explain Koang ajeni yani mujdu mini kudu kami for example mugwaji for example jatin lakin bako ko teo I'm ready or not okay jatin tamam ajen kan gebel cheta ko ko come and fall that is nothing lano mujmetiatin beben eventually it's nothing because whether you pray now or not and time more that ajen time below the yani still cook that yani che you answer I mean your prayers check the answer okay with me now Mr. Koang now to work on determinism, okay, and now you are in free will, okay. I'm not sure. Can you kind of clarify?
So I'm not sure it's a GN already. I can't see that. A lot brother we it call the lot already. Like no matter you actually asking for that is a choice itself. She choice it, you're making a choice there, isn't it? She take a free will there.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I'm
So
in a
still
better.
your free will is still with you more like a JK and Kuko Quilla Yoga I'm ready. So Michi you're ready, maybe how could you choose that? You have to choose.
One many phrases, a la pal. Many lingan more about relationships. They in Raj D in a quote. They in a D in a quote whenever if it is not through phrases. In other words, got Mila to kill Kanagan. Like Latam is Pan Kanagan and he's closely watching his father's doing. Kadamo, the general Lama sure no, then got me Chitia Kanagan. Do you know that? Yala got it, Yala Jagio, Mellet Gwan, Lara Madato. Guru Ledaba. Gadamo, yes time, le nyin ke ken mala mena gwan bala mala ngaje to kwaro din tamara madana. Okay, so that's what prayer does. Alapal, let know it's kind of a relationship, yeah. It's kind of God's will. Kokore, dukut jin mal machur long gira malafal. Okay, malafal li du mal machur long ko bir loy ko di mal ngaya long du men de mal ger de ko la kamna me di mal ngach. Okay, for example, ramala fal ndam. Ko to real relationship kana ko. La janga ye mo wa guro gwar. In this tender age, mo wa guro gwar, there will be likelihood of we can be succeed. Come and they follow in the future. Okay, mo wa ne sure. Chiko the knock based on our interaction kono ko. Chiko the knock. Men ba wala ka ndama. Ba wala ko chen men de ko wa kama. Ki men de wala chen bolong lana. Mo wa na the same thing. Ki jana ndama. But no be ngayong. Be ngay pal. Bible one part of it. But fall along the jen loy ko the long. Ko chere ka tam nang tam kut gure ja ku jo watch ku jo observe kan tan le de ma ka ya. Ki jana. Paul is not about forcing God no kumunina. Good again, damn it. Ngaja ne one kana on lo kukun walk on a pause, we're gonna push, we're gonna lelde. But the change ye when and kula couldn't see a contel, I don't know, major when we mourn, it take my time in prayers. Michi Bible chip when la time like an we palm ko work a leo, Bakulban Bakurun, like much of his time, which is spent in prayers. Mar let up relationship the kind of one. But age of 30, you didn't can chocolate. And then tin the island jalala in 3 years. For me, large relationship they can one through prayers, right? Kakon, millat kona fall and them the yoke and this David. We are not just trying to bring down Nuaret in the cook rakatin, but you can't bear with them, you fall. You see that? You can't bear with them, like blood what the young
Me ago amena
yeah.
me ago amena adbe me chi work till I knew the chair on the job to campaign you know all sorts of things. Ne toba kwa describe or palkin, right? So me chiti dan kula and tama these are in the very presence of God. Tin the altar like in pot taken ke. My question now pal kan ga mo me je ngwan ke gur ngwan ke taken ke dia. So pal chi adore me just let ko ko we are human being. It's actually relationship. Pal actual ke Christian actual je talking to God. Don't know right you know that's the simplest definition of pal. Then I'm a right you know God who la right you know Jamara do people that are important to you, you talk to them. And just not pal and more. Right do no more. Be a ngok be a discuss don't that kini tin ko pi ngwani don't da we share yen tin ngong ye cheta me don't want to put you gonna jay. I had a rough day today. Cheta day me this was an awful day me cheta a good day. Just around me nyuang nei no ngok don't tell me tie ja ka je me do dien just about sharing basically. Nyuang no ngok yen ko. Here chapal ko lu jelo like is God become like a genie. Me la kono we have take ngwa ga moja kana me. Like that's a distortion of pal. Change and purpose pal. Pal take a meaning. They don't go along. It's basically talking to God. Jen pal. I think that would be a very simple definition of it.
Okay. Asan tamban we galong adang Shan ban ka mandong o ko Jeremy all knowing Jeremy ngay ito dial okay. First of all, ngan guru bana define misa kong be definition bita all knowing bilat misa Panom be also bita all knowing be pelantan. Misa kong first.
Yeah, and definition mo, you can go to on ke lot ke
Yeah.
definition.
Yeah.
So then the funny thing and we are just our discussing concept as a human take the concept the corner known our physical universe karwag because
Exactly. Yeah.
definition will create based on our knowing of God in this physical universe. Yeah, whenever and cause this you know it's a universe to can con ni jagana to can con long ke discover Chega creator to
Yeah,
one
yeah.
to kakaterarin. There are those universes are of the time. That's what makes us confused every time. More icon about God and is characteristic. So more icon about Oko they all knowing. Yes. Ngay je no we mon by chak. Ngay je bono that there can be things that can go wrong in the universe, including we mon good. Ngay je. In fact, Cherry Alaka from the beginning. Okay. Uh, deal are all knowing. No more. But you in our interaction with him, tell her limit. Let conquer. Okay. What the tartan and for example, quan attack of FIFA law. Nisha your order for Yanama, there are European. You could tear that talk. Come up with that. But the decision I make is my decision. Okay. And that the different. Allah, whenever it comes to our interaction, you could go and around a minute watch so that we have free will, right? Around a minute watch, cut let conke. Around a minute watch, decision it in conke and time every time. A contact have a control, like the contact robot, che gorda contact robot, che chak, the contact it is. Therefore, when we talk about God all knowing, many limit to the universe. But when a con watch then and our interaction. Take some limitation teacher halaka teacher gor no da con da con ngach won yam da ngai ni man to den nyot con and I don't know maybe you could confuse no.
Okay, yeah. Mr. Panom, wait for a while. And definitely Mr. Koang again, course about ngay there from the very beginning to the end. Lakin query limit. Ano dyan rin lang naman. Lojan quit time very limited. Okay, if that is the case, it's still yani limit more bane formula. Bane tako one quote is all knowing. Che bojan ngay tiya and okay, and wo very limit more. Share me query limit con, but it's still his own power. Share me she completely in the dark about what is going on. But share me query limit on the bus and okay, like can still know that okay. Okay, wait, I'm coming to you. Okay, Mr. Panam, kadang mana define yang ada omniscient. But when you Mr. Kwang,
Okay. I think we have talked about these things in the past, but omniscient, is knowing all possible reality, reality to coexist. And even now, where does God know a married bachelor? No, God doesn't know a married bachelor because that doesn't exist in reality. So it's knowing about things that are reality, okay, that can be known, okay. So can knowing all possible outcome. For that, I will begin a top scientist. Chẳng can a scientist. For that, I will begin the worst criminal ever. She exists because outcome is not taken. These are choice. Chale you make you gonna call that name. We made A, B, C, D. Taken then the choice at all. Okay. So those are outcome to the thing already. The deal at all. They are possibility equal. But your own choice, again, why to put your own limit and go choice do. That means it has to dictate you in choosing that. So that will be choosing A, B. God has to make you choose A or B. That means the free will to be away. Okay. And therefore, to put your own limit, which is your own choice here, like outcome anything already. But which you choose your so we choose A, K, B. You could tell about surprise. Oh, I can't believe poor guy no choose the can't chuck. No, all possible choices, then by make enough, but he doesn't know your personal, you're choosing and be decided, what am I gonna choose? Again more. So that's how I define all knowing here, omniscient, and knowing all possible reality and all possible outcomes.
okay, okay. Now your definition now is telling me that God doesn't know your future, by the way, right?
He doesn't know your future decision. No, you know your future, but he doesn't know your future decision. Yes.
Okay, wait. Okay, now listen. Okay, let's say I want to do something. Okay, and and in 5 years, guru bala ramatena misa. Cha decide more. Okay, share me again could that quid unless you decide, right?
I mean, yes, of course, because can any decide. So even you quit here, quick because tell a decision which I make. You can't know nothing. We can decide.
Okay. What does knowing what is only possible in this reality, just for example, okay? But the reality actually was created by God Himself, right? We mean that everything within this reality, okay, it doesn't have to be impossible God, right? What does it mean now?
Ngaja reality, ngaja all those reality, but
all those reality.
All those reality. For example, lo begin nang wala begin philosopher. Raw philosophy be ngaja. Okay. So ngaja kaya but then what will you choose? That's something which a okay, again kel much of ali ja fali ko cha gur be jim manipulate gur and by the way you could choose to know. Tell me yara, you could choose to know, and I think that he is doing justice. You know, by palcon mokon pal choice no con mokon pal go to content. I think he's doing good thing. But again ko la je ka committee relationship you know ko la ja ngaji o do ba cha cho ke ja ba wali we ko buko da lare, and that's when you make a decision.
And time again, my problem is tell now a real cinema again quick rate, okay? Let's say me con work, let's say okay, me con the magic con but you con outside of this universe, for example, okay? Okay, I will agree with you, okay? But the reality is he has created and somehow he still doesn't know every detail about it, by the way. Yani share and queer and a sequence of time, for example, mean and queer you a reality mean to control mean to create ngata problem di dong marwai ngata problem
okay ka amen
because
amen decision ko ngach Buom amen decision ko ngach ngud ya go de longo na mo onda
Yen tell boy, there's no free will, which is a problem too. And I believe the idea of free will there's no free will. Why support the Bible? It is okay. Mother share Bible and cook the work and naked dialect government took something like that, okay? It means that there's no way, by the way, okay? And he knows everything from the very beginning to the end, and he knows and every detail about your thought, everything, right? But now somehow you are telling me that God doesn't know your decision, and limit you on the side. Like I'm really not sure about this one.
Chikora got that very well last time at this very point. Which exam chao kwa induel gore. Okay. Which exam chao kwa induel gore. Jidwel gore ngay can passing mark. Jidwel gore ngay can question it and chalap gwana more. But do they know what are you gonna choose? Because the average didn't belong. Okay, among the kin belong to because work year level. Well, does that depend on you?
Okay. Yani yen mo kwe depend kaji. Okay. Ko jin masalan be work hard, right? Work hard, be kwen along.
Yeah.
Ayo be magan gorke be hulno. Yo share me kwe mo.
Okay, so me chu kwen along and time we for the kwen along and time can let it the alti. They are ngaji wo jin be pass go chi work here put in che jan time. So your choice now, they're determining the outcome and be jack. Okay, outcome and be jack. Take again this choice. That's why you're creating the future. Your future, you're creating it right now by your present decision. Okay, so in that case, if God has to determine which one the can be picked on, you have no choice at all. Like telegy choice. And therefore, God know my decision. God has made me do this. like just animal program. Animal program, they don't make conscious decision. They're like a decision that they make, and that's what is the difference. Again, like I say, well, the privilege to have choices. Only different between animal kingdom and humanity.
Okay, according to the Bible, I'm not sure share me news or something. The one negative, share a point. No one can only check them. Can only check. Okay, you can check that. Okay, and it knows everything about you before you even existed. For example, and okay, nature all the thought process. For example, that will make you. I don't know, and it will by itself or by itself. I'm not sure. According to the way you play right now, with me now. God still knows everything about you. He knows everything, and min bishar anytime, min bishar anytime. Wale ki room ki mola ngaye ke liu, and them more take it of them.
Hey,
Okay,
la ka Bible ngada ka revelation na mo. La da no netin cha kan kriam rasdal le cha ngot ni tuka. La da ne yechu e cha liada cha nyor ni tuka. Chi netin cha kan ni tuka. Kan kan da. It was referring to Jesus. Ni ko no kan Bible la na na. Again, te garami cha le rami chi question chi mun gwa da me person like Judas ki Peter ngay ye chu ke en ba la ke like ngay je ba ko ba ga Peter ke ba ko ke ye chu this is part of malat kono yon tame ala kut ngay je men chari tame ala decision ni chari tame chan kin la ne ra ngay lo yu yen ku lo yu ku credo chi yen me ken ni
yeah,
char chebe. Okay, so and for example, they just predict me. I'm not they predict at a hard time when I live there gak there and there gak. Me I'm sure should keep you that keep any mail at a bang. A garmela yoram a treasure ka jagane sure. So then she chang like in sure and a man boy and a below baby jack bell at Kaya, and they're referring to scripture. She will write a lot. But Aram Kel, maybe a gak, and then Judas fit the description. You see this? Again, there is another thing we call a ngaiba. A lot of another move ke mutual spirit of prophecy. Spirit of prophecy. Woda ji jako di nyamdi ene. She problem no more. Do not nyam mo la ja gar ke berta. Chenta da nyogo garamme biturbi le rech. Kada gara nata. Okay, so then I'll let Jordan, maybe then I'll palk the what the the agreement all can occur. The take garment I give believe then to agreement like can occur the Bible. I can live.
yeah,
I
yeah,
have other I have things to do. Can I live? Do you see this? Allah, you can have a spirit of purpose. Di dornen da talk ya da talk. Me go always like general talk. Me jagla again. We should not be confusing the THU ne mete we mon a gook jalga a gook. Damn and but walk down. The but walk mana point te la wana da ger me liwe ne ngeje beliu ano chang haji beliu ba por mi ja ka chu pal jo ko no aji to we le maka you see this
yeah.
but ko the gur bet walk to to continue confused but all in all ko la ja gur be ji pal nyinko be ji pal decision ko jenan mo the jin human being.
Take
Okay,
I'm young, I'm a man. Simple, I'm a summer meton one of them. Take a dub down job and make what they future. Number one, I would take a plan which I like already planned and more the future taken. So time da kon jogo binama but walk and can not walk because a plan de. Tell me take a plan but couple plan ka dia like yes, tell a plan mila no. So me ja la do plan de but walk by you talk. Could take all power to bring it to pass over Jakato. And out there, come a future by our conduct. Okay, conduct, she ang ching ro do ge. Mila Chamanity Jia. They didn't know that you to typical to work again because how you conduct yourself. So the current behavior determine your future outcome. So that's another thing. Ngay future gaja. But also take a knowledge me take a hope me very unique ngaje humanity deal anyone me exist and actually bomb ngaje tame she just bomb kora but ngaje good dong ke all your generation me take a genetic component to dong chiro di lot to dong tere gene na makia to go dong good dong wun me pel more dong chiang me pel to di alto da ngaje okay these things are trait about pass on ga me so therefore don't bo fit ke job me balada me balada because take a knowledge me just like what time it did go janang me chita ke human being check on them a kept in a lab ke check on them a store ngai ke the alto whole sum of that again a jaga jaga tiak along that don't want that ngai about people long when we like jaga supernatural long
Okay, taban ta mai kiran ta woka sa bakal mu daga 30. Akan kiran da kona falka sa bakal mu daga 20. Okay, Solomon bin ka last one. Last one wo yani end creation of the universe was it and was it an act of free choice from God or was it just let's say just a consequence no should could exist? Share me could take a choice another the universe the creator or share me but يعني in which exists لازم بتكمل universe يعني something like that. It's become first.
A part of his being, a part of his being. La chang jino nomi ke the known agent in the universe, like human being. Di ngaje no ko take num di no be let kel kana raman chak. La goro be take nas to become authority de. Cha Adam cha for example che Jacob everything te cha ko become multitude become name. To kecha come authority ko be karaj. Generally around and done. Allow one of the reasons mula put la dia look at the ki la dia ki tele je wo cha na muy ka authority. La rara pa je ki ko tik nyet mero medi everything di lat ke je and then there is no need for God. But ne te cha kam nyet en kuna la ga and done la te dre na la te talk about the dit ba kata ne to ngai kene ngai to chaba ba la chi bom dien rana ngai je menen ko ne dang de right tin dang e ke mi chi ngach re te ka me mi jinu gi ka so de chi de man ja e ko but no more ko a part of his being be lo ka be create but now be create the universe be create he has a reason for everything something which ma accidental ke je cái chia something mi chieng ta rame che chap den to no I have to do something it has always been his planning yeah it has always been in his mind katan ne ko jen bi yon dama ci bete ke tam tel ram tie ka ko en bu mo na mu gut but ene de bu chieng ke le je boy chieng da yeah so it's not accident.
Okay, now Jini coach exists, okay? The universe cannot not exist and and meta can make it some language. I mean coach exists, okay? The universe cannot not exist and love them the universe must exist. Coach exists. Me yo.
No. Kan chan inferno ma chan inferno universe the jig exists. There will be time the universe does it like the chan budu wa bata tibitil bukut lana another creation so tell cha exist of God cha here no and by the way now the God exists and then the universe will be Jacob exists.
Okay, yeah. That mean and point coach take a choice right now, Tom. Yeah, and then low is low and cause take a choice. It means that cause can that mungkin don't that decide who universe be create. Okay, yani no effect, right? Lakini mem decide who the universe be create. It's here no effect, right? Okay, Mr. Panom, before I come to you, Mr. Panom.
Yeah,
Yes,
so yeah, sure. Take a middle actual theological term actual aseity, self-sufficient. Hello, Koda is a self-existent God, but tell him gore, right? So tell him you gonna come tell him they're gonna wake right? To create something is an act of love. For his nature, kata cha kota describe ke ta ngap ke Christian ke coexist in relationship. So to more than one person taken and kwala te Christianity te one kagat and then a year that's a believer in Christianity lo and look in that sense right there te love taken what love does you share, okay? So part of that they love and more part of God will benugama be nyuakane ko kien yana ko la do panaran chaka shadan bana chala ke shadan so they de go your dash minds like him there chak so those mind they ju chaka lo ke physical ke human being but go to ba gwat chiang adien be chaka yana ko cosmos ke universe ma ko la no into existence because we want but apart from that, no, God, he certainly doesn't need us. Tell him that about kind of contract, but Arami take a look sharing. So his act of love is to share, and that's why Chakwan again. Not because he needs us, but because we need him here. He wants to share.
I want and no more. Mother long sin and of course love him but take a free choice. Okay, that's okay. Lakini still my problem is here. Con mendan chana wo course kojen course sell beginning ga to okay. Yani mo kon ka ta to kon tin dem. Yani share me changa time ber long before they could decide over shot, okay? Because some already share something like 14 billion or 13.7 billion years, something like that. Yani way yani chana da work ali yani don't yani okay me time many the same age as God for example, okay? Chana one on. Okay, it's still no kon mishagel kabita decision here. Yani kon dan chen la do en position bit and the do decide the then time dan chan go to interaction, okay? Before they created anything, before the universe, before kon chagi ha. There was a point, I'm not sure, time okay, there's no time, ma'am. There was a point she would decide by universe about create. More than she no understand now and decision more we have been keep catching a timeless universe and يعني share meeting ka tam no gol ni cuma tam dan me shan bokul shen ka decision A or tam 0 to tam 2 sam sama
many nang ko ya many nang ko ya many nang ko many
okay
assume be kaji dap ci ko te run de sete kaji dap lo dap ji la run de sete many ro le la adam dap ko ji la ram di to ken jin ko nagat me ken jin ko nagat ka cha dap ngi du ke lu ke experience ke lu ke everything ke lu in your sete in your sete am damn sure on ngi men gori bala re te ka ken liu
yeah
ni je ni go no by 30 what will you want in your 40 what service will you give to humanity in your 50 what will you be doing okay ni je ni go no mo but chari na enda me chari when you are 30 kada bujila 30 okay and then when did you start to decide you start to decide that they and pugro kanya
yeah exactly
and anything around and go
yeah exactly
the same thing many kakokot Many couple ko the same ngaje problem di do guru kono do ko that tuk ko men tuk the same time you to ko do de ngaje men balat from that day won ya ngaje bo be chak okay ngaje baran be chak ngaje wo da to bo da lo dak based on tindo to kana ka ngaje men bo lat thereafter when did he make the decision? He start to make the decision the first day to take kaya. And he never learn on that. But it is not a problem. Oh, no, I have to pass be 30. 20 years to go on to like whenever I'm 30, then I will decide about we want to in the next 100 years. Kind of turn off. Men the lot the first day. The bigger problem no much you talk there, could tell it took you two over the year. Many take again no more the first time you quit this quick color.
Big issue.
That is self-contradictory in itself because it's so hard for human mind to think. Like it's saying, oh, take a decision over the day zero. So if take decision over the day zero, that means the deciding and to order you actually just calling things to pass. Okay, but the actual deciding oh, what am I going to do? I don't think take a factor anymore because you already know what you're going to do and you will, when you're going to bring those to pass. So, but imagining that would not exist a human being that is a reference point. That a reference point. It's a problem there no more. So, but imagine a time instead of what Ramkel actually said this. You could go along with them. Like when we die like 1 year old or like a few days old, and then wow. I don't know what the implication would be or already, and then Bukula get younger. But by then, Tigarun and already by age 100. When you're losing everything, then go to the Tiger, do Chiku, do the learn by yourself. Just in reverse.
Okay, and time run she war long more about 3 a chunk can complete connect topic lana yung kon dia la wo galium kan dia ko okay we te kon la wo galium kan dia mom ngante mo goro da kon mo man ko ta tangan da chawada sabakel ta fort I believe next topic that more than cancer 500%. Okay, to be honest with you, main next topic don't ban can you cross stand ke dia book dia dama again a time we long on them main metem ran matin.
Sure, yeah, ngaja he get to go now to that's why I'm always better if we have to always this have this kind of debate continue to go as a human to con limitation always explaining them very difficult but reality again based on our relationship based on our readings of the Bible I believe different philosophers she can go on they can work in this question what can any but they are really very good questions I believe next Saturday the same time they're calling novel waiting the thing could go we could teach so as long as book on clarity our debate is not about this person is right to win this person no it's try to think through and bring clarity into that committee thank you so much.
Mr. Panom.
So it's easy Cajun society where people become polarized we're wrestling with hard questions of life. No one is claiming or take a perfect answer. The only difference in Kulata Kanate in these questions, they are about hope actually, most of the time. Kakan the big question of life, because human good can bigger purpose then because like how they relate to the divine. Right. So reason that divine factors like in the equation. Which a lot of Bible then a quote here. Because there is a higher insight into life than what human can discover. We are so limited as human beings, and men go all the resources that we have at our, within our reach, use, including the divine insight of instead of throw away, we may actually allow it, because it actually answer the deepest question of life. Scientist, cancer, but you only bore cock up and what be choke a bigger duck, that's it. What like a human being, like that's terrible answer. Nobody gonna accept that. Tell a hope you come here at all. And this is where the divine insight could have been in the equation. But sign they just like keep that out. Chine good already. And I think it's a very biased position along me reality to log into about we need one lens. And that lens is very, very difficult. Go and damn me la de je ne ta ga wan can jidi can ngai ka do to. That mean myang can sure to exclude the equation already. But ngai can work, they know things. How do they know it? That means there are other means to know things. So knowing more, according to limit to just science. Again, we have scientism. Scientism is a religion as much as the religion of Kokenton. Because that was science, the only way to explain reality. But reality is bigger than science. The physical creation came into existence at a certain point. So it's about assuming and all that there is. And no more. Yeah. Even these mental exercise, much of them, they don't even involve science, philosophy. So you actually left science and dealing with the philosophical metaphysics there. So yeah, no more.
This actually me chara be live ke video la ke our limited understanding of everything they can link through science very wrong and very weird. I don't know where this come from, special society done. Now we are talking about metaphysics. Yeah, think Larodian even chikon go which chisan go look at all. Tan chero che moral ground che lonka ko loy ki che lonka establish. Che tung wan ko kien che go lonka lan chung yen spirituality me. Ona ni jen ta with it. Okay, ko che ne big deal especially they run good. You'll tell them one along the Larodian to explain through spirituality. Cool within. But tell empirical method to use in order to understand things that relate to moral, to metaphysics, to spirituality. I really need to talk about this. I really don't have to we can do that. But again, it's really very good ground, Michael, that thank you, Gaiko, you need to be NATO. Please share it. Part of Tin Gore Society. Ban on philosophy society la take philosophy chang to con appeal to good. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay.